It's not going to work. Everybody in? Where's Ken? Oh, there he is. I keep my eye on you. How are you? Carlos? We good? All right, we're not going to show any video. Okay. All right, good afternoon, everybody. You're all aware who I am, Sheriff Joe Lombardo, Clark County. There's going to be a little bit different orchestration in this press conference as compared to the rest. What I'm going to do right now, I think it's important that we address the victim issues we are experiencing and the resource issues that we are experiencing. So I'm going to key on that, on the original portion of this, and then subsequently Commissioner Sisolak is going to provide some donation information and acknowledgement, and then after that I will come back to the podium and address the overall investigation, where we stand and where we are going. Now, reference the investigation piece, I don't want to repeat of what I experienced yesterday. It's an ongoing investigation, so I'll be limited in the details that I provide you, but hopefully we can get through this with some modicum of decorum. So please don't rush me all at once. When we get to the question phase, I will identify you if you just raise your hand. Sound fair? All right, we'll get through this. Okay, so as a matter as formality, our department has worked through the night to identify all the victims of Sunday evening's mass shooting at the Route 91 Harvest Festival. We have identified all but 3 victims. We still have an active scene at the grounds near Mandalay Bay, so we ask anyone to stay away from that area until further notice. The FBI is working diligently to clear that scene. So the question is, the FBI versus us. We have partnered with the FBI, as I said, from the very beginning of this in the investigative phase. The FBI has brought a large amount of resources out of Washington, D.C. to assist us with that. So the reason why the Harvest Festival is still in continuation of investigation is not only solely related to the removal of the victims, but is also documentation of the scene. So we're using the best practice technology to ensure that we have complete documentation. That's why it is taking a longer period of time associated with this. So we ask for everybody's patience. As far as Las Vegas Boulevard, north and south, we anticipate to be open shortly in the next few hours to benefit with commerce and what we do as a community. All right, the key component here is resources and victim identification. So bear with me. I'm going to try to get through this the best I can, but the important piece is if you missed a number, we are putting up on lvmpd.com in the next hour the listing of all numbers I shall provide you today, and for people out in the public to contact us if they are lacking this or they don't see this broadcast. Okay, we're asking for anyone who might have information about the shooting in a criminal capacity or is a victim of the shooting to contact us via 311. If you are out of state, if you have left since the shooting and you have discovered you feel that you have become a victim, or you realize you have an injury associated to it, we're still asking you to contact us, but the out-of-state number will be 702-828-3111. Additionally, if you are local and you have the ability to respond to a local substation, a working police substation, locals are familiar with, you have the ability to file a report at that location. Now, the family reunification. All that is occurring at the Family Resource Center at the Convention Center located at 3150 Paradise Road. You can go there to file a missing person report. You can go there to have contact with the coroner's office. You can go there to get answers to your questions as far as family reunification. The phone number, if you have left the area, is 1-866-535-5654. Now, we went through a little short process here recently where that number was down. We provided a separate number, but we will go back to that original number because we have the technical aspects of that fixed. So I want to be very clear on the difference. If you are reporting a crime or you feel you are a victim of a crime, 311 is your outlet or a local police substation. If you are looking for victim information or family reunification, the Family Resource Center on Paradise Road is your point of contact. Now, personal property. We were getting several questions throughout yesterday and continuing today on people attempting to recover their personal property from the Route 91 scene. We are working out the details of that. We're in the planning phase of that, and we will have an answer for that in the next couple hours. So lvmpd.com will provide an answer to that probably before we have another press conference. But we are working diligently to get individuals who left personal property at the scene back to them as soon as possible. I anticipate it will not take place at the Route 91 location, but I do not want to give you furtherance of clarification at this point. So you will be provided that. The other issue is donations. As you can imagine, in any critical incident, the outpouring of support from private citizens, corporations, and everybody else associated with concern for the victims is overwhelming. And we appreciate that. But it comes a point where we can't manage it. Now, the Red Cross is unable to manage it. We are unable to manage it at the substations. So if it's hard goods, such as water or canned goods or stuff that will not become perishable, 3 Square and Catholic Charities is accepting those donations. So we're asking you to provide that information to your listening public and to accept donations at that point. So the areas of, and let me give you the addresses for those. So Catholic Charities is obviously at 1501 Las Vegas Boulevard North, and 3 Square is located at 4190 North Pecos Road. At this point, I will acquiesce to Commissioner Sisolak, and he will give you an update on the donation phase of this as far as victim satisfaction, and then I will return and we will conduct a Q&A associated with the investigation. Commissioner.
Thank you, Sheriff, and we appreciate you all being here today to give you a bit of an update on where we stand. The fund that the Sheriff and I set up yesterday has now surpassed 53,000 individual donations. It's in excess of $3.7 million as we speak. I want to bring especially, we need a lot more resources. We're going to need a lot more money. We've got individuals that are going to need future surgeries and help and so forth moving forward. I want to acknowledge a few special individuals not included in that total of $3.7 million. Last night, a private citizen called both the Sheriff and I and contributed $500,000 to the fund. That is not included in that total. This morning, Wayne and Kathleen Newton called me and they have donated $100,000. That is not included in that total. For those who want to contribute and don't want to do it on GoFundMe, you can make a check to Las Vegas Victims Fund and mail it either to the county office, to my office, or to the sheriff's office. But I just got off the phone with Jim Murrin from MGM International, and the sheriff and I both spoke to Jim, and obviously they have stepped up in an enormous manner with this community and everything that they continue to do. And on behalf of MGM and their over 50,000 employees, they have contributed $3 million to this fund. So we appreciate everyone's support, the donations from $5 to now $3 million. And there's a lot of need, and we are going to do everything we possibly can to raise money for each of these individuals. So we appreciate you continuing to encourage folks, your viewers and readers, to support the campaign. It's Las Vegas Victims, either on GoFundMe, or you can make a check to Las Vegas Victims Fund. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Sheriff. We're working through the idea of possible distribution. It comes with, we've already got some inquiries. I think it's going to be a few days before we can coordinate how we're going to distribute money. Right now, we're not looking at the minor property losses that some people have called on regarding, backpacks and shoes and phones. We're looking at more major expenses as it relates to, surgeries, medical expenses, funeral expenses, transportation, so forth. But we should have more details with you. We're working through the county office and the sheriff's office to develop something in the immediate future in terms of where people can go, who they can call to start distributing the money that the people are most desperate. So thank you all very much.
Okay, just a quick synopsis or current status of the investigation. I won't reiterate what we discussed yesterday in previous press conferences, but we have completed the investigation at the Reno property, and I'm sure the question will be presented, what was recovered there. So it was numerous electronic items, additionally 5 handguns and 2 shotguns, and a plethora of ammunition. So we have served search warrants at 3 separate locations. That would be the room at the Mandalay Bay, the Mesquite location, and the Reno location. Additionally, we served a search warrant on the suspect's vehicle located at the Mandalay Bay. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Can you be specific about the modifications to the weapons to make them automatic? Is there different versions of what that can mean? What were we talking about here?
The question was, what are the modifications associated with the weaponry? ATF is participating in that evaluation. I can't give you an answer on whether any of them are automatic or not, but we are aware of a device called a bump stock, and that enables an individual to speed up the discharge of ammunition. I don't want to give you any more details than that, but in partner with the FBI, the ATF, they are sending those weapons back east to the FBI crime lab for further evaluation.
Just to be clear, you say you found that there in the bump stock?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Has the girlfriend,
Yes, sir.
Mary Lou Damley, has she given authorities information about his motive, about his movement? And so can you tell us what that information is?
No, we don't have that information yet, but I will assure you that the investigation with her is ongoing, and we anticipate some information here from her shortly. Yes, ma'am.
We have some information in regards to $100,000.
No, ma'am, I do not. Now, here you go. Just let me back up a little bit. There's a lot of information I do know, okay? But it's an ongoing investigation, and when I say I do not know, I may know. But as you can imagine, in a criminal investigation, we want to ensure the continued safety of our community, and that all those questions are answered. And I assure you, this investigation is not ended with the demise of Mr. Paddock.
Sheriff, can I ask you a
Yes.
question here? Could you give us an update, if there is an update, on the victims and the injuries? And also, is there anything new that keeps what we've all been wondering about? Are you making any progress, whether you're able to give specifics or not? Are you making any progress on determining a motive?
No, I'll answer your last question first. No. We are making progress, but I don't have complete answers yet. So I anticipate a substantial amount of information to come in the next 48 hours. Hold on, let me finish the rest of this. As far as the injuries, it goes across the board. The coroner commented on that yesterday. We have trampled injuries. We have people trying to escape, injuries of their own device. We have gunshot wounds. So if you're looking at total type of injuries associated with all their injuries and the people that died, it goes across the board. I can't give you a percentage associated with gunshot versus other types of injuries.
Are the numbers, though, the general numbers, 59, 525, have those changed, or are they the same?
We believe the injury number has decreased slightly, and when I say slightly, maybe 20, because we had a double count error occurring at one of the hospitals.
And the death?
But we're looking close and still in close proximity of the number I provided you.
Can you post her whereabouts? Have you spoken to her directly already?
I can't tell you her current whereabouts right now. All I know is the Philippines, and we We are in conversation.
And is she a
She's in
suspect?
Japan.
Is she a suspect?
Currently, she's a person of interest.
Sheriff?
Who is
The girlfriend.
She's a person that.
Yes.
Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am.
The Daily Mail has released photos that say that show the hotel room after the SWAT team entered, and it shows guns and ammunition inside. Many outlets are re-disseminating. Can we verify the legitimacy of these photos, and should any other outlets disseminate them?
I can't verify whether they're legitimate or not. What I can tell you is I'm very troubled by it. We have an internal investigation occurring as we speak on how those photographs were obtained by the public forum.
Sheriff, can you talk then to what was found inside that hotel room that the gunman used? Specifically, CBS News is reporting that there was a camera inside that room. Was the gunman recording? Was the gunman transmitting that video anywhere else?
I'm not aware of any transmission, but there was cameras. There was cameras located outside of the room and inside of the room, along with the firearms.
And he had set up how many cameras?
I don't know what the specific
And for
numbers
what
do you know,
purpose,
Aaron?
do you think?
Well, I anticipate he was looking for anybody coming to take him into custody.
So essentially, you have a recording of him carrying out this carnage.
No, that's not essentially what I'm saying. That is being evaluated. The FBI took all digital and electronic evidence into custody, and we are evaluating.
Sheriff?
To follow the.
If
Yes,
you
sir.
would, follow up, do we know if this man was targeting this particular event, or did he have in mind perhaps another music event that was going to be coming up in the Las Vegas area as a possible target? Have you developed any evidence?
No, we haven't developed that yet.
So there
I
was a
will
report-
provide you that information at a later date.
To follow on that, there's a report that he may have intended to target the Life is Beautiful concert.
We're unable to confirm that.
The week before.
We're unable to confirm that.
Sheriff, I have a question. About the 72 minutes that transpired, we're just trying to get clarity as to, when did the 17 minutes of the SWAT team go to shoot the hotel room? From when the shots were reported to the time when they entered the hotel room at the Mandalay Bay. Can you give us a little more specifics about
What's the
how-
clarity? What's the clarity you're seeking?
Some specifics as to how it went down, what time the shots rang out, what time you guys got the call, and when.
We received a call at 10:08 p.m. The best of our estimates and video review, he continued to fire at a progressive successive rate for approximately 9 minutes. As you can see by any video you see in the public space, it was hard to determine where they were coming from. Once it was evaluated, it was coming from the Mandalay Bay. As you can imagine, how hard it would be to pinpoint the room from the outside. Officers subsequently teamed up, and moved over to the Mandalay Bay in order to locate and engage. But that was in conjunction with the Mandalay Bay security. Now, this is an opportunity for me to tell you something. The Mandalay Bay security was fantastic. I don't want anybody assuming that they are unsafe by, staying at one of our hotels. We would not have engaged this individual in the time lapse that we did without their assistance. We received information via their dispatch center and or their operations center, their call center, from individuals staying within the Mandalay Bay that helped us locate where this individual was sequestered. Hold on, I want to finish her question. All right, and so subsequently that takes time. As you can imagine, moving from the location of the event, deciding whether you're going to help victims evacuate or you're going to decide whether you're going to take charge and put an element together and go engage this individual. So we have a lot of bifurcation of responsibilities associated, especially in a dynamic event. I want to say kudos to those officers that got together and said, this is what we trained for, active shooter, we're putting an element together, let's go engage this individual and locate them. Okay, and that's what we did. And when the security officer was engaged by the suspect, we backed off for immediate apprehension, and SWAT team formed and made entry.
What time was the security officer engaged?
I don't have that time for you.
Sheriff, how concerned are you about your officers facing weapons like these?
Absolutely concerned. The world has changed, and who would have ever imagined this situation? I couldn't imagine it, And for this individual to take it upon himself to create this chaos and harm is unspeakable. And, you know, we have to try to spitball or what if these situations at all points when we train and ensure that we have proper response, and I think we did a fantastic job.
So Sheriff, Mandalay Bay Security identified the room before SWAT arrived?
No. Well, yeah, before SWAT arrived, but not before my officers arrived. They were married or hand-to-hand with my officers when we made entry over to the hotel. And it was a matter, if you recall yesterday, I said between floor 29 and 32. And during that process of evaluating the floors, we received additional information where he was located, and they immediately responded.
Sheriff, what time did SWAT breach?
I don't have that number for you.
And there's only one room.
Did he continue to shoot from 10:08 until the SWAT team came in, or why did he stop shooting?
That's for us to evaluate in the investigation.
Sure.
Were the bodies of them scattered throughout the venue, or were they in one particular?
No, they were throughout the venue. They even had some victims that met their demise outside of the venue. And then we had individuals who had been shot and they continued to run away, and then they passed away several blocks from the venue.
Sure.
We also had very heroic acts of people attending the event. We have numerous videos depicting people attending, normal citizens providing medical aid and providing transportation for victims to get to the hospital.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Going back to the point that my colleague said on the camera that was set up in the room, it sounds, at least, I'm sorry if I'm interpreting this wrongly, it sounds like he had set those cameras up to give himself warning of the approach of police officers.
You know,
In your mind, if that indeed was the case, and I know you don't want to get into the mind of a madman, as you put it, how would you judge this man's preparation and determination to do this based on those factors?
I don't even need that bit of information to make a judgment. This individual is premeditated, obviously premeditated. The fact that he had the type of weaponry and amount of weaponry in that room, it was pre-planned extensively, and I'm pretty sure he evaluated everything that he did in his actions, which is troublesome. I was hoping, you know, I pray that in these situations that a citizen, because we can't be at all places at all times, that a citizen sees something, says something, and we act on that. Quite often what we experience in our line of work, a citizen thinks it's trivial, and they say, no, I don't want to bother the police. We ask you to bother the police, because those individuals, especially housekeeping type individuals, or any cab drivers, anybody in the public space that can assist us, we ask them to call.
Do you believe his girlfriend had any knowledge?
Okay, let me ask back here, Ricardo.
Police or security guards fire any shots anytime during the encounter?
While he was discharging his weapons, we are not aware of that. No security guard or police other than the encounter at the room.
And can you expand on what went right? I know you practiced for scenarios like this, maybe not exactly this scenario. Can you expand on what went right with first responders?
You know what, I'm glad you asked that, Ricardo, because obviously people have the assumption things went wrong in this type of carnage. But what went right is we saved hundreds of lives. In an event, and this guy having the ability with those weaponry, the carnage that could occur outside of what did occur, a lot more was prevented because of our police action in short time and private security action in short time to save some lives.
Sure.
Could I ask you,
With all of this in the room, the cameras now, the guns, everything else, yesterday you had said that there had been hotel staff inside that room during the stay. Is that still believed? Did he turn away housekeeping? Did housekeeping go in there during this time?
The only thing I know at this point is room service was provided.
Sheriff, could I ask you, I'm going to move it, and I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify. Do you believe you are going to find the motive for this crime?
I absolutely believe that. Yes, I do.
And why is FBI not trying to bring her back to you?
How do you know that's not
Well,
occurring?
I guess that's what I'm asking. Is that what's happening?
That is occurring.
Sheriff, on the
Yes, ma'am.
You all have been investigating this nonstop for the last several days. How are you and your investigators doing?
I'm so glad you asked that. No, I am. I'm not being sarcastic. We're doing good. I'm actually very proud of our people. I mean, This guy here is the local SAC, Aaron Rouse, in charge of the FBI. You know, it's important. Greg Castle talked about this yesterday, the chief of the Clark County Fire Department. I'm telling you right now, this jurisdiction has the best partnerships, I believe, in the United States as far as public safety. We would not be able to accomplish what we did, as you described, in the last 48 hours without that partnership. The FBI stepping to the plate to help us with evidence documentation and prosecution. The fire department, he didn't do a good job describing it yesterday, Greg. The fire department in our jurisdiction marries with a police officer during a critical incident. I beg you to find such a robust type operation in the rest of the United States. Quite often what you observe in the public space is the fire department will wait until it's secured by public safety before aid is rendered. Our primary mission is aid and the safety of the public. They took it upon themselves to train with us, to marry with us, and to go into the fray to assist the victims. If you look at the video, you quite often see individuals with helmets on and vests on. Those are firefighters standing next to us. So I think it's very important for you to ask that question. It's very important for me to convey the answer. But the next 48 hours, we'll be able to tell. We've gone into incident management mode. So in other words, people have to get sleep and nourished, and because we don't want to make any mistakes in the investigation.
Sure.
Yes.
Do you have any indication what the suspect was doing in the days leading up? Was he gambling, eating?
We do have some information. I'm not at liberty to say at this point. There's the guy I was just talking about. Make sure you get him on camera. All right?
Sheriff,
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been in communication with the Philippine government, and yes, have they been cooperative with the whereabouts of Ms. Bianca?
Yes, we have.
Sheriff, a couple of questions. One is.
Okay, before we get too long and too contracted in this press interview, I'll answer your questions, Ken. I'll ask a couple additional more, and then I want acknowledgement of the people standing behind me. As you can see, it's a congressional delegation and our other public safety officials, and it's very hard for them to conduct federal government and local government while they're standing behind me. But I think it's important for you to realize their community support, and they want to be there amongst everything else they do to ensure that people understand we're bringing all resources associated with this to bear in order for we meet success. Go ahead, Ken.
The first one is to button up the camera's question. There's a report that he had a camera on a service cart in the hallway, and that the security guard was shot.
I tell you what, I wish I had some of you on my investigative teams, because it's amazing. It's amazing some of the information you come up with, but I'll confirm it. Yes, one of them was on a service cart.
No, the other question is the one that I wanted to get to. You talked about motive. You talked about premeditation. You want to learn why he did what he did. Videos. Can you tell us the number of interviews you're going to have to do that? You talked about you're reviewing cameras, videos, computers. Who did you last talk to?
I'll give you a global answer on that. Yes to everything you said. Yes, we are evaluating all that. I can't give you, because the number's changing, it's fluid, Ken, on the number of videos we're evaluating. Just on body camera videos, we had over 67 videos we evaluated. Okay? So you would say, well, you had a lot more officers at the event than that, Sheriff. You only had 67? No, not all officers are assigned cameras because they work an investigative function or plain clothes. But when they take on the role of special events overtime, we don't require them to wear body cameras. So we are evaluating those cameras as we speak. We have 90% of that done, but then we have all the common public space cameras that we're evaluating. And I can't remember the rest of your question. I'm sorry.
Well, we're also talking about the computers and his cameras.
Right. So a lot of this, you're probably saying, well, Jesus, Sheriff, it's 2017. How come it's taking so long for you to evaluate that? Because it's evidentiary. There's chain of custody issues associated with that. We have to ensure we're dotting the I's and crossing the T, because you know there's criminal defense attorneys out there, right? And there's this thing called the Constitution. We have to ensure that we're abiding by that, and we ensure that I don't know if we have possible future prosecution. You heard me say that we're comfortable that we have the suspect in the custody, but something more may come of that investigation. And I want to understand the motivation that you describe, okay, to prevent any future incidents. And, did this person get radicalized unbeknownst to us? And we want to identify that source.
And who did Mr. Paddock last speak?
Hold on a second, and then I'll answer the president question.
Does the congressional support include gun control?
That's not for this forum. That's a long, contracted discussion. That's not for this forum.
Still part of
It's not appropriate?
In regards to the president's visits, the president will visit tomorrow. Any security measures the city is taking, and if you can tell us what the president's plan while he visits Las Vegas, how long he will be here for. I also know that it's been reported that he will meet with the local sheriff. I'm assuming that will be yourself.
I'm the only one.
And the mayor and the governor. So could you please give us?
You're correct in who he's visiting, and it is a matter of secrecy and OPSEC, operational security, that I can't give you his travel plans. And that will be obviously provided in close proximity of his arrival.
Any information that if you will visit the hospital, you will visit?
Ma'am, I can't answer that question because of operational security, but as you very well know, you have the resources to determine that upon his arrival. And I can't speak to what his agenda is. What I can tell you on part of your question was what is normal protocol when the president or the vice president or anybody of dignitary space of that equality, we ensure of their safety by the joining forces, basically. It takes a great deal of resources to ensure the safety of the president, and we will provide that because of our public cooperation through NHP, North Las Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City. As you can imagine, all the people will come to bear. Now, an important piece on that is the president's visiting. Route 91 investigation, and if you recall, I'm a police department, so we have over 3.3 million calls a year that we deal with. So we have to continue with our investigations, our response, and normal police business in order to be successful. So I ask your cooperation, and don't get frustrated if I don't have a press conference every 5 minutes, because I have a job to do and my folks have a job to do. So I want to thank everybody for attending today, and hopefully, as a result of your attendance and your broadcasts, this investigation will be not as long as I want it to be.
Sheriff, you've been very transparent as far as Metro's de-escalation.
Can you say that again?
Tactics.
Can you say it again, please? Say it again, Rachel.
As a local reporter, you have been very transparent in the past about Metro's de-escalation tactics. In Pulse, which was a mass shooting, there was talk at the time of a very delayed police response trying to decide when to make entry. Can you talk about the decision to make entry into Paddock's hotel room?
Well, I will not disparage another police department's response, but I will tell you we quite often learn from what other people do. And everything we do on a critical incident is based on a self-evaluation. And as a result of what occurred in Columbine, what occurred in Sacramento, what occurred in Boston, what occurred at the Pulse nightclub, police response has changed. By the fact that the fire department is standing with us is monumental, okay? So we have found it's better, instead of securing a perimeter and hoping the person doesn't continue to do acts of carnage associated with their actions, that even a small police response will stop the suspect's actions. And so to answer your question in reference to Mandalay Bay, that training, we were listening and we were paying attention. Officers on their own, without direction of a supervisor, knew what they had to do. They came together, formed a team, made a response, and they didn't wait on SWAT, okay? They said, we have to stop. It's easy to say, well, we're waiting on SWAT. They're the experts in tactical intrusion, but our officers took it upon themselves to act.
To clarify, patrol officers made entry to the room?
No. Patrol officers evaluated floor by floor of the space between 29 and 32 where the suspect was. They formed a security, they evacuated rooms, and they formed a perimeter at the suspect's location. By unfortunate acts of the suspect, the security guard was engaged during that process.
Quick yes, no, was the security guard in company with officers, or was the security guard alone when?
He was acting independently. He got separated from our team.
Sheriff, can I just confirm real fast? Yesterday, we have Japan, but so the girlfriend is in the Philippines, just to confirm that's the location.
I'm comfortable saying she's located in the Philippines.
And she's actually.
And you know what? Just so you know, I'm not giving you bad info.
No,
Okay?
I wasn't implying that. I was
No,
wondering,
she was traveling.
Yeah.
And so subsequently, we have determined her location.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, and I know it's, you have to give me some deference.
Can you clarify that?
I'm currently done answering questions, okay? So I want to thank you. Carla, do we have any idea on next conference time? Okay, hold on. That's not gospel. Okay, she hasn't talked to me yet. I put her on the spot. I put her on the spot, but we'll anticipate 5 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.